All
right, Coach, just like you like to draw them up, right? A walk-off hit by pitch is another one, right?
Yeah, somehow, someway. That's what I told the guys. I was like, I don't have to answer that question when the last time I saw a walk-off hit by pitch was. So just grateful we got a run there to finish it off.
So what'd you like about your team tonight? There were some scoring opportunities early, couldn't quite, get some runs in, but you made it to chip away. Your pitching held everyone in check and able to come back.
And I think in that ball game you can feel like you got a choice there to give up and to let those. We had some really bad at-bats and some big moments in the beginning of that game. And the at-bats got better as we went. Obviously, we didn't know that left-hander was going until about an hour and a half before. That was a change-up, so we didn't adjust to that like I would like. We had a chance in the first inning right there. You could blow that thing wide open and the whole thing's different, but we didn't. Stood, just kept going. And those guys out of the bullpen, Bauer and Sauce, and then Kramer at the end to do what they did was great.
Coach, pitch scoreless innings in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. I mean, how important is that when you're trying to manufacture that comeback? And if they score one more insurance run, this game could be over.
Correct, yeah, and that's why those guys were out there, and that's what we needed out of them in that moment, because you can't really go to Chase right there and that to stop it. We went to Kramer to use the one bullet because I wanted those guys to know that we're sending Kramer out there. He's going to get the 0, and we're going to figure out a way to win the game, and they did.
Last week at Kansas, Santala, Kramer, and Castellano really showed out in that doubleheader. This time around, Kramer back in the spot again, but also Bauer and Sauce there. What does that say to you about the depth of this bullpen?
Well, we're starting to figure out the pieces and who kind of matches with each other out of there, and those guys have earned those opportunities. Bauer, like you saw his first outing here, wasn't great, but every outing since that's gotten better and better and better, and the same with Sauce.
Talk about Kramer's decision there in the 9th inning. There was one out. He allowed the double, and then the ball comes back to him. He makes the bang decision to try to get the lead runner, and he gets him out barely.
Yeah.
Just talk about that decision.
Well, and I think he didn't think the guy would go, obviously in that situation. But when he's running like that, and you got the guy out, and he didn't make the greatest throw, but Khalees kind of stood his ground and bailed him out.
Speaking of Khalees, you brought him into the starting lineup in the second base. What was kind of your thought behind that decision, and how has he been doing in this new position?
Well, he's there to do what he's been doing. Those are tough, tenacious at-bats. He's playing his tail off defensively. He can run. He brings a lot of energy. He's kind of sparked us a little bit on that part.
Coach, let's talk about the 9th inning clutch by the hitters. Jack Zyska bringing in the run and then manufacturing the hit by pitch.
Yeah. Well, I think it all starts with the first guy, right? Like Matty stands up there and delivers the single, and then Jack and I talk about after the one strike kind of what we were thinking, what he wanted to do, and he told me he wanted the bunt, and I told him I wanted to hit a double, and he eventually did that, and we scored the run, and then we let Lex hit, and he hits an absolute laser to second baseman, and then somehow was it the sunny ball to the shortstop that they threw to third? Yes. And then we get first and third, and they walk to get the break, and we use Nestler, and he doesn't get a great pitch to swing on 2-0, but found a way with Willie when the back foot slider hits him in the back foot.
And on that sequence, Jack avoiding the tag at third, I mean, that was a really huge play. I mean,
Correct.
That doesn't happen. You might not win the game.
Well, and I think that was great, but even before that, when it's man on second and you're trying to score the winning run and Lex really hits that ball hard right at the second baseman, and to not get doubled up right there, that's just as key as that other one, because I think that thing's, if you don't have an experienced guy out there in that situation, that inning might be over right there.
Coach, talking about experience, you guys have 15 seniors on the team, making you one of the most experienced rosters, not even in the Big 12, but the country. What can you be said about the seniors and their impact?
Well, I think they've all been through the battles of it, and we got some younger guys too in some big spots, and they can kind of lean on them. And it's just not out in the game either. It's at practice, it's in the meetings. Like, they've been through this, especially the guys that have played in Power 5 leagues before. Like, they've seen all this stuff, and using that and helping the rest of those guys who haven't kind of adjust to it has been great.
Coach, this win now brings you to 500 in conference play. What kind of help with that is sweeping that doubleheader in Lawrence. What was it like for you to bounce back from that game 1 in Lawrence to then sweep the doubleheader with Wiley Hartley making his first start in the weekend rotation?
Yeah, last week, that first game couldn't be any worse, and we made some decisions with the bullpen there because we knew we found out we were playing 18 innings when we were on our way to the ballpark, basically. So we were trying to figure that out, and we had a talk after that game on Friday night and had to make a decision how we were going to attack the doubleheader, and the way they attacked that doubleheader has led us to this point.
Talk about Kade Rucker. He's been the king of the midweeks, and that outing at JU, I mean, wow. I mean, 1 out away from a no-hitter.
I've never had a more stressful 6-0, one pitcher used game in my life. So he was on it from pitch 1. That was good to see because that guy works his tail off, and to get rewarded like that, and on the short week with the doubleheader and then the Tuesday and then a Thursday, for him to do that and save the bullpen was great.
Bouncing off of Bryson's question, I mean, you guys are back to 500 in conference play. What does that do for the team's morale to get back to this milestone?
Yeah, and we talked about, we don't even look at that till we'll look at that after we're done with Baylor at the end. We're just trying to win series, somehow, some way to win every series that we can, and that's the focus.
What was your thoughts on Wiley Hardley's first to start in the weekend rotation on Sunday?
I mean, it looked like all the rest of his outings for me personally. Like that's what he did in the fall. It's what he did in the spring, and it's good to see him take that stuff from practice to the game in the bullpen, and then go out there and start and do those things.
What does this team need to do now? Because you need to do now to clinch its third consecutive conference series tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow's going to be completely different. This game's not going to be a 4-3, or maybe it is. Like, we don't know. We just got to find a way to come out on top, score one more run than they do somehow, some way.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.